Hi Aquarius, welcome to your reading. If you're new to the channel, I do timeless videos, which means that whenever you find this video is when you're meant to hear the messages within it. And in case you subscribe, I upload my new videos for Leo and Aquarius on Fridays. Also, for those of you who are interested, the deck that I'm using today is called the Modern Spellcaster's Tarot. And as always, if you guys are interested in getting a personal reading, my link is in the description. So just as a heads up, the cards in this deck like to flip over. I do see them, however, I usually don't take them unless they pop out, like the ones that I have already taken out. So the goal is to have around 8 cards, and then once we have those cards, we can get started with your overall energy. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put these 2 cards back, just because I don't really know if they came up in the upright or in the reverse, because when they fell, it was very hard to tell, but I'm going to go for 3 more cards and then get started with your reading. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take this card as well. So your overall energy here is the Queen of Wands, right? And the Queen of Wands talks of fire signs such as Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. So some of you guys might have those in your chart. But I feel like more than that, these are qualities that you're having to what's the word? I keep wanting to say develop, but develop isn't quite the word. It's like these are the qualities that you need to use right now, because the Queen of Wands is very stern, I feel, and I feel like there's a lot of issues here that you really need to deal with, and it's unfortunate because you're the one that has to deal with them. I almost feel like you guys want to be sort of a supporting role in your situation right now, but no matter what the situation is, it's almost like everyone wants to come to you, and everyone needs something from you, and you need to do this, and you need to do that, and you're sort of like the person that's pulling all the strings in the situation, has all the power, and it's very much this energy of like you having to deal with it. Yeah, I'm getting like almost this problem like people are like, no, this is your problem, you deal with it. So I feel like you're finally getting to a point where you're kind of starting to get fed up with it, with this Queen of Wands. And I don't see you taking any dramatic or drastic actions right now. However, I do see that there's going to be some kind of development in the next coming weeks. I do see something with family here. The Chariot speaks of Cancer. So, okay, so let me just go over the major arcana that you have here. You have the Temperance, the Death, the Chariot, and the Fool. And of those 4 major arcana, 3 of them correspond with a astrological sign. You have the Temperance as Sagittarius, which is another fire sign, such as the Queen of Wand energy. And then you have the Death card, which is Scorpio. And then you have the Chariot, which is Cancer. So you have 2 water signs and sort of fiery energy. But like I was saying, the Chariot represents Cancer, and Cancer talks about a lot of times roots and family, right? Cancer is the ruler of the 4th house, which has to deal with all those things. And I feel like right now you guys are feeling a lot of issues with your family in particular. Also, the Chariot talks about moving. So I see a lot of movement either physically or mentally or emotionally. I think that you guys are dealing with just a lot right now, and I feel like that needs to be said because I'm getting messages from the left, messages from the right, middle, up, down, like everywhere there's a message, right? And it feels like very chaotic energy. Feels like there's a whole lot of stuff that's just going on all the time in your head, in your heart, in your feelings, and it's just like, it's very confusing for a lot of you guys. And like, even just the cards themselves took a long time to come out, so I feel like you're delegating and trying to sort out this information the best you can in your head, right? So I think I'm going to try to sort of organize this reading as much as I can and go from left to right. So we have the Temperance here. Temperance talks about, I feel in this particular deck, a lot of communication, right? Because the Temperance talks about taking elements and sort of mixing them together and getting a new result, right? So it looks like almost this Temperance, the angel in this Temperance is trying to mix almost some kind of a drink almost. And I feel like some of you guys might be trying mixed drinks almost, like alcohol. I just feel like, and it could be that some of you need to relax and just have a drink and like talk things out with someone. But I'm definitely getting that there was some kind of pain in the past here with this 3 of Swords, because the 3 of Swords is heartbreak. It may also be third-party situations for some of you guys, but I definitely feel that there's something here that needs to be talked out, and I feel like someone has been kind of like skirting away from it and not sort of confronting it head on. And I feel like to some degree that's probably due to all this like very chaotic confronting energy. But I think that whenever we see the Temperance, we need to really think about what it means to sort of give and take, right? Because I feel like when we see the Justice card, things are 50-50, right? Like you do half the project and I do half the project. That kind of an energy. But the Temperance teaches us balance in a different kind of way. Whenever I see the Temperance, I always think of like a cake recipe, right? So whenever you make a cake, you don't put 1 egg, 1 cup of water, 1 cup of flour, 1 cup of frosting or whatever. That would be, those proportions are way off. You know, you put this many eggs and this much water and this much flour, and those are all different quantities because they have different impacts. So I feel like you need to be able to balance out your energy and sort of like how your energy will impact situations, because I feel like definitely wherever you put your energy, it's going to manifest differently. Some situations simply require less energy than others, and some require more energy than others, and that's understandable. Next, you have the 7 of Pentacles and the Fool card. So the 7 of Pentacles talks about watering your plants, right? So in a very literal sense, it talks about planting something like a seed of intention and then taking care of that seed and watching it grow. So I feel like for some of you guys, it's almost like you've done that and then you've abandoned it because you have the Fool card. I feel like there's 2 scenarios here. Either the scenario that I just said, where like you started down a path and then it didn't work out for you, so you ended up taking the Fool path and sort of starting over and starting from zero, or you are finishing up something, tying some loose ends so that you're able to start down this path of the Fool, right? The Fool is a new beginning. And I feel like that might be for a lot of you guys because you have the Death card, which talks about finishing up something, putting an end to something, putting something to rest. And speaking of rest, you have the 9 of Swords. And the 9 of Swords talks about anxiety, and it talks about feeling stressed out and not being able to sleep at night, right? From your stress and your pain. And I feel like for those of you who are in sort of the first camp, you're putting an end to that scenario where you are so stressed and where everything is so difficult. I feel like you're putting whatever it is that's stressing you out at night to rest, and now you're able to rest. And I feel like for some of you, like there's definitely something that is making you stressed, and with this Seven of Pentacles and with this Fool, you're sort of like marching away from that and fixing whatever it is that's causing you this, right? So I also want to note that you have this the 9 going into the 10 of Swords. So that leads me to believe that you're seeing a lot of completion here. Also, you have the 3 of Swords, 9 of Swords, and 10 of Swords. So I feel like you're in your head a lot right now. But you have the 7 of Wands, right? And the 7 of Wands talks about a situation that's worth fighting for. So I think that you guys have had a moment where you're sort of like sitting down and sort of thinking about things. And I feel like you need to ask yourself the question, what is it that you're fighting for? I feel like for a lot of you guys, you've sort of gone through the motions so much that you've lost what it is that you wanted in the first place. And you need to sort of really sit down and think, like, is this worth fighting for, or is there something better out there? And I feel like with this Chariot card, a lot of you are going to make movements towards something different. I feel like if you were to, and it doesn't necessarily mean like, okay, so I feel like there's multiple scenarios, multiple situations, and multiple ways of approaching those scenarios and situations, right? You don't have to buy like an engagement ring for something that you want to do, right? You can change your mind about things, and that's okay. I feel like part of what this is this 10 of Swords has really put you in a bad mental space. I feel like there's a lot of issues here. All of these Swords cards are very much connected. I feel like there's this 10 of Swords, which threw you into this 3 of Swords energy, and now you're in this 9 of Swords energy, and the goal is to put that to rest. And I definitely see you getting out of this energy because your overall energy is the Queen of Wands. So I definitely feel like you're putting your foot down and you're going about and changing a lot of the things in your life that are putting you stressed out in this 9 of Swords energy. So I think like you guys are just trying to make the best out of what the cards that you've been dealt. And I think that that's really admirable. It's just very difficult. And I don't think okay, I was going to say everyone will understand. I don't think everyone will understand, but it almost feels like I don't think anyone will understand. I feel like, unfortunately, this may be a path that you have to walk alone, or at least a path that a lot of people will disapprove of. I think that people are going to come around in the end, but I feel like it's going to be very difficult at first. But Aquarius, that was your reading for this time around. I'm sorry that a lot of this energy was super downer, but I feel like you guys are going to come out on top at the end. And I feel like you guys are more than capable of handling it because you're in this Queen of Wands energy. But if you enjoyed the reading, please consider leaving a like or a comment because it really helps out the channel. And I personally really love to know if these readings resonate with you guys. But like I said before, I upload my new Aquarius videos on Friday. But in the meantime, you guys are more than welcome to watch any of my other timeless readings. And with that, I hope to see you guys next time for your next reading.